Hey, what's up everybody, Nexel here. Today we are playing Kingdom Hearts Union Cross, and we are going to be talking about the notices that just dropped today. So we've got 3 new notices for the day. The first one is going to be Supernova Kingdom Hearts 3 Dark Riku. The next one is going to be the Avatar Monstropolis Sora boards, and then the event coins galore to wrap things up here. So let's go ahead and start talking about the Kingdom Hearts 3 Dark Riku deal. Now remember that, and they even advertise it right on the board, that Dark Riku is going to have a 30% chance to ignore target's defense boost. So it's going to be our first speed equivalent to Monster Form Sora and to Kingdom Hearts 3 Zeus, both of which have the 30% chance of breaking defense, and also Anti-Aqua. I guess Anti-Aqua Supernova has a 30% chance for defense break. So those are the highest in the game right now, 30%. And we did it a little bit of an analysis in our top 10 video where we compared what a 30% defense break is like in comparison to like a 15% defense break. So 30% is the most consistent. It is probably the best defense break we've got right now. But let's go on with the rest of the notice and then talk about if I think that Dark Riku is pulling on or not. So Kingdom Hearts 3 Dark Riku arrives in a new deal. The medal will introduce a new debuff that decreases the target's upright metal strength by 1,000. When used on enemy, you will decrease all target strength by 1,000. If you purchase the VIP, you're going to get it within 5 draws. And then if you have just a standard draw, no VIP, it's going to be within 10 draws. Whereas every draw will still give you 10 VIP coins guaranteed. Looking at the banner, every pull will also give you, and this is a very, very nice addition, will also give you a tier 9 dual Meow Wow. So essentially, it's guaranteeing that if you have to Mercy the medal, you're going to be able to get it to Supernova Plus. And then if you're free to play, you don't have the VIP banner, you're going to get 2 Supernova medals up to Supernova Plus, because you'll be pulling 10 times, and then you'll get 10 tier 9 dual Meow Wows. So that's actually not too bad of an offset trade. Both of them only come with 1 trait medal. And then of course it's going to be 4 Kingdom Hearts 3 medals in the VIP banner, and then 2 Kingdom Hearts 3 medals in the standard draw. But overall, the format of this draw is actually really, really good, because no matter what, it guarantees the same amount of traits between VIP and standard. Honestly, I'd prefer 2 trait medals, because I feel like 5 is just not enough for the medal to have like a decent set of traits. So 10 is probably a safe number there. You do get VIP coins, which can buy you more traits. So I guess it's like you get 10 guaranteed on the VIP banner, and then technically you can get up to 20 on the standard draw. So 20 is actually a very solid number to get good traits. But let's keep trucking on and just continue talking about the banner and the notice itself. So something I like about notices nowadays is that they actually come with a lot more information than they used to. Like, they used to just be like, hey, here's this, go pull for it. But now we get all this stuff in the disclaimers that's actually really, really important to understand for how the medal works, how we're going to be using it, and if we think it's worth buying. So looking at these notes, the first one is, please note that the minus strength effect cannot be overwritten with buffs or be dispelled/reset with special attacks. However, the effect will dissipate if a player's HP is taken down to 0 via reflected damage or enemy's attack when their counter reaches 0. Then the player revives with either HP recovery or second chance. So this is a very peculiar scenario, because it's one of the first buffs where you can't break out of it with a Kingdom Hearts 3 Kyrie A or an HD Xion. Normally, if you have either of those 2 medals with extra attack, it's enough to get you out of like a bad like buffing situation where you're at like minus 15 strength, minus 15 PSM strength, minus 15 upright strength. Usually you can break out of that with the override buffs from the Supernova attack of either Kingdom Hearts 3 Kyrie A or HD Xion. But what this is saying is that even with those Supernova attacks and even with the medals themselves, it's not enough to break out of this minus strength, which is really peculiar, because then it pretty much lets us know that there's probably going to be another Kyrie or another Xion down the line. So I don't know what version of it'll be, because honestly Kingdom Hearts 3 is obviously the most recent one, but there's going to be a version that has Dispel on it, and for better or worse, it might like take even your buffs. So if you stacked on like upright buffs, activate the Kyrie medal or the Xion medal, the new one, whatever, it'll dispel that. So it'll dispel your minus strength, and then it'll dispel your plus strength. So I feel like that's a medal that's coming down the line. Maybe it's going to be a nominee medal, actually. I feel like that's more of a nominee medal to have. But this specific note is pretty much saying that no matter what you do, as of right now in this game, the only way to get rid of minus upright strength is by countering it with plus upright strength. So we're looking at Ultimate Form Sora and Kingdom Hearts 3 Kairi B as the two main ways to counter this. I'm pretty sure there's nothing else. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure those are the only two medals that can manipulate upright strength right now. And of course this one on top of it. So I feel like a Dispel medal is coming down the line. And then it's also weird thinking about this, because if enemies have the opportunity to use this same skill on us, think about how hard another mission where there's like a more advanced barrier master that's able to give you minus strength. Think of how difficult that would be. It would almost make Kairi B or Kingdom Hearts 3 Xion essential for restoring your strength back to its normal point so that you can continually do damage. So I'm kind of wary about this effect right now. I feel like this can play very, very well or very, very badly based on how enemies are able to use it, based on how we're able to use it on enemies. It's just a whole nother variable that we're not really given all the concrete stats about. Like, this would be a little bit more understandable if we got like the strength stat of every enemy instead of just vague approximations like, oh well, this enemy's stronger than this one, so it's got to be a little bit higher. Like, if we have like a solid guidebook listing of all the Heartless, their base strength, base defense, all that stuff, we'd be able to calculate some more numbers and then figure out better strategies. But not giving us that information almost makes it kind of hard to figure out how we're going to play around with this mechanic and how important it really is without being able to crunch some actual numbers. So that's my thought on this mechanic right now. I'm very wary of it. It can play against the player really, really badly. It could play for the player really, really well if only players have access to it and not enemies. But we'll see. It's still sort of in a testing phase for me right now, but we'll go from there. So the next note is when an opposing player uses an imitation medal, the minus strength will only take effect if the imitated special attack is upright. Makes sense, because remember, copy medals will copy the attribute, it will copy the upright reverse, it'll copy the multiplier, but it won't be copying the strength, it won't be copying the tier, the skill, none of that stuff. So it makes sense that that note is there. Alright, so the campaign period, you're going to get 10 days to decide, which is a little bit less than average, I feel like. But we did know this from, not a month, but like 17 days away. So we did get that notice at the beginning of August. I believe it was like August 2nd, where they told us everything that's coming. So we're looking at Kingdom Hearts 3 Dark Riku, and we're looking at the Kingdom Hearts 3, I think it's Dark Baymax was the other one. So we've got those two medals guaranteed to look forward to, as well as any supernova upgrades that they've got coming along the way, which they do not announce. So remember to save those medals, save those Fantasia Mickey B's, save those magic mirrors, because they might come in handy to bring a 6-star version up to a 7-star version. Remember, keep that in mind and check out that past video I made if you have any questions on it. So let's take a look at the actual medal itself and kind of talk about it. So first of all, it looks okay. I mean, it looks like every other Kingdom Hearts 3 Organization 13 medal that's out there, where it's the character wearing the dark coat. Now let's look at the buffs and kind of size it up in comparison to the other supernovas that are out right now. So it's going to be multi-target, so it hits all enemies, deals 3 hits. For 1 turn, increase strength and reverse strength by 10, and increase special attack bonus plus 200. And then targets upright metal strength minus 1,000. It'll also debuff the enemy's defense by 10 and the reverse defense by 10. So looking at like the buffing profile, it's pretty good. I still don't think it's enough to replace Kingdom Hearts 3 Vanitas quite yet, but it's pretty good considering that it gives you general strength. So if it's later on in your Keyblade, you got debuffed by like a Barrier Master, you're able to get some of it back because of the strength stat bonus for you, and then the enemy is getting minus general defense. So that's pretty good that we have that. Remember, those are pretty scarce, so if you get extra attack on this thing, that's going to be really, really good for your general strength and general defense debuff. And then it's going to be reversed as well, so it's going to give you plus 10 reverse and give the enemy minus 10 reverse. Again, really solid. Extra attack rounds it out to perfect. It's also nice though, because being above 8 means that this is gonna balance out an HD Xion that does not have extra attack on it. So remember that HD Xion will only give you plus 7 reverse buff and then give the enemy minus 7 reverse buff. So this evens it out, brings it out to 15, which is the maximum cap right now. So I think that's actually really, really good. Remember that it only works for upright metal strength that the target's getting their strength decreased for, so it's only minus 1000 on upright strength. And then moving forward, damage plus 1 or 0 enemy parts left. Pretty standard stuff. A lot of metals have this. Kingdom Hearts 3 Aqua, for example, has it. So it's a very common one to have, that focusing damage, where it does more damage the lower number of enemies or parts are there. And then 30% chance to ignore target's defense boost. Anyone who's been playing this for more than a month can tell you that defense boost is pretty much the standard for PvP. Having multiple defense break medals is going to be the only way you're going to reach those high level tiers. So it's kind of like a mixed bag in my personal opinion, because you can be really, really bad but have great defense boost procs, or you could be really, really good and have no defense break procs. So it's kind of just like plus or minus for me personally. But I just think PvP is kind of an up in the water thing anyways. Alright, moving on to the supernova effect. So it's going to be single target. So while the metal itself will hit all enemies, the supernova attack's only hitting one of those enemies. For one turn, it's going to increase your general strength and your reverse strength by 5. Very, very modest. Nothing really to report home about. But for the enemy, it's going to decrease their strength by 10, which is kind of weird because this on top of the minus upright strength for PvP or minus the general strength by PvE enemies, it kind of makes it sort of a buffing metal. So it's kind of strange, but all in all, it's like a good package for PvP because it decreases the enemy's strength and increases your ability to win by giving you defense break. So a lot of really cool stuff kicking on the Kingdom Hearts 3 Riku. So how are we going to use this metal? Unfortunately, it's reverse speed, which is still, in my opinion, a very, very hard attribute to use. Like, what do we got kicking for reverse speed? We've got the 3rd slot in Sleeping Lion. We've got the 2nd and 5th slot for Divine Rose, which are arguably some of the best places to put this metal. We've got the Missing Ache. Obviously, pretty much throughout Missing Ache, we've got a lot of reverse speed. And then we've got the Bad Guy Breaker, where it doesn't matter if it's upright or reverse, but it sort of matters because the metal doesn't self-buff itself with plus 15 reverse strength and then minus 15 reverse strength on the enemy, so it can play a little bit when it comes to messing with the upright and reverse buffs. So what are my thoughts on it? I think it's a skip for now. In my personal opinion, I don't think I want to pull for this metal, and if I don't want to pull for it, I can't encourage others to pull for it. Yes, it's a really good metal. Yes, it's gonna sort of redefine the format right now because it gives that minus upright strength for PvP and minus general strength for the enemies in PvE, but I'm still not sure how they want to play into this. I still got to look at this mechanic a little bit longer, kind of see what other metals they bring out to kind of manipulate it. Like, again, is that Dispel metal coming? Are we going to have something that gives us plus 3000 upright strength, which is going to make this almost effectively useless for that? So it's kind of hard to really say how this is going to work. PvP is just, I feel like it's not a reason you should pull. I don't think PvP is a reason you should pull, and it's not as big of a deal as it used to be, because the big thing about PvP is that you can get tier 9 dual Meow Wows from the platinum tickets, but that's random. So you're better off aiming for high levels of PvP because you're guaranteed tier 9 dual Meow Wows. You're better off planning your pulls so that you can get tier 9 dual Meow Wows from the pulls. Hopefully they continue this throughout future pulls, because remember, this one gives you guaranteed 1 tier 9 dual Meow Wow per pull that you have to do. So I feel like as they introduce more ways to get tier 9 dual Meow Wows, PvP is becoming actually less relevant, because you don't need the tickets, you don't need the blue fairies. Really, it's about getting those guaranteed tier 9 dual Meow Wows and then planning where you use them, figuring out which metals deserve to be upgraded from Supernova to Supernova Plus. So that's my thought on PvP like right now in terms of like its brokenness. Defense Break is great, and this one is currently uncontested in Coliseum, or I'm sorry, in PvP, because there's no way to reflect reverse speed. There's no way of getting around it, essentially. It bypasses Anti-Aqua, it bypasses Kingdom Hearts 3 Roxas. So it's really, really good, but it's still RNG. So like I was saying earlier, you can have this metal, and yeah, it might increase your chances of winning, but alternatively, Defense Break at only 30% doesn't proc at all, and then you're stuck kind of just like, shoot, like I'm kind of behind in damage right now. Or your opponent gets all their defense break off and then it's just like you're still in a bad scenario. So because it's still RNG, it's kind of just like, am I really going to bank on that? Like, is this going to be so game changing for me that it's going to alter how I play my game? And I feel like it's just a no for me right now. Like, that 30% is, yes, high, and we did the math on it in the top 10 video. Is it broken? Not really, in my opinion. Again, it's good when it goes off, but it's just way too awful when it doesn't go off. Another reason I would pass on this medal is because there's not a lot of good ways to copy it. So right now, this medal is the only one that has minus upright strength for PvP and then minus general strength for PvE. However, in order to get the maximum kick out of this and make sure if you're doing a turtling setup where you have to increase your defense and decrease the enemy's strength, you want to be able to copy this medal. You want to be able to do it multiple times so that you can get as much minus upright strength on that enemy as you can. Like, if you can get minus 6,000 strength on the enemy, that can make a very, very, very big difference. But that requires a copy medal that copies forward before this medal, and then a copy medal after this one that backwards copies. Now, currently we don't have any backwards copying medals, so unfortunately that's out of the picture for now. You'd have to be using a very low tier, low strength one from before. And then in terms of the forward copying ones, we've got like Angelic Amber, which works on the bad guy breaker. We've got Kingdom Hearts 3 Axel / Lee, which works on Missing Egg. But I feel like I don't even think there's one for Demix, actually. If you use Kingdom Hearts 3 Demix, I don't think there's a scenario where it copies the Kingdom Hearts 3 Dark Riku. So it's kind of like a weird scenario to be in right now. And it's like, I'd rather wait for the copy medals than I would be pulling for this medal. Because the copy medals would be more useful than this medal because they have like that timeless value more or less. So not a lot of good ways to copy this medal. And then I feel like also that minus 1,000 strength on the enemy for PvE is a little less relevant than I feel like the game plays it up to be. Because these enemies, when they come at you, they are coming at you with huge amounts of damage. Like, they will knock you out. You have to have the craziest defensive setup to make it work. And trust me, I've done defensive setups before. But right now, where this game is at, you have to have this strange balance where if you're doing defense, you're trading offense. And if you're trading offense, it's taking you way longer to beat a mission. So I just don't think it's worth it investing into too hard of a defensive setup where minus 1,000 strength is almost nothing in comparison to what these enemies are hitting you with. Like, when you get knocked out by these PvE enemies, it's by like billions of damage, millions of damage, and your measly HP bar only goes up to like 6,000 without any sort of perks. So it's kind of like a weird thing to say that the PvE minus strength might be relevant, but I really don't think it's gonna be. So right now, Dark Riku is a skip for me. Let's go over and head to the Avatar Monstropolis Sora boards. So remember that by default, you only want to buy avatar boards if they are coming with max skills, and this board does not disappoint. So let's go ahead and read through the notice. Unfortunately, they stopped doing the puns. I really actually miss the puns where they are just like, they'd play off of what the avatar board was, but unfortunately, we lost them here. This board also comes with a new attack boost X max and gauge 1 skill, which we're going to talk about in a bit. And then you get 10 days to decide on this. Again, kind of a short time frame, but not too bad. So here are the two avatar boards. You get obviously the male and the female one. They've been doing that forever. So let's go ahead and take a look at the stuff it comes with, which is really going to be the main selling point. So looking at the avatar parts, it comes with rare enemy perk +4 for the shoulder piece, and that's actually pretty rare. I actually only have one, or I think 2 shoulder pieces, but they only give rare enemy perk +2. So this is sort of relevant for the event coins quest going on right now, because rare enemy perk affects the gift shadow popping up. It does not affect the sparkler, but we'll go over that in just a little bit. So it's sort of relevant, and it's sort of some of the highest rare enemy perk plus that we have right now. So just a kind of an extra to the rest of the avatar board. Alright, the big things are going to be the 3 skills. So like we were saying earlier, they're all max skills, so that's already a good sign. It's going to come with attack boost 10 max and gauge 1, which is the highest attack boost right now that has the lowest gauge cost. So 10 max, perfect, that's as high as we're getting. Gauge 1, it's the only one of its kind that has attack boost 10 max attached to it. So This is the only way of getting it right now. We might be able to get it in the future. We're not sure when or how, but just know that it is available now. And 3 times more damage while it only costs 1 SP. That's like really, really good. It will bring down the cost of a 6 gauge medal that has extra attack from 12 to 2. So that's a really significant difference. And that saves you a lot of gauges. It allows you to do a lot more things downstream, especially if you don't have like extra attack on a Kingdom Hearts 3 Kyrie A or a Xion, where you can't restore those gauges very readily. We have attack boost 9 max gauge 2. It's kind of like a plus, like it's kind of like an extra bonus, and then defense boost 5 max, which again is kind of like an extra bonus. So remember that this board is going to cost 2,500 jewels, but if we look in our avatar boards, we actually have access to the skill board still, which comes with a really good set of stuff. Is this the right one? So we are getting in our skill board, attack boost 9 max, attack boost 7 max Lux++, defense boost 5 max, attack boost 9 max gauge 2, which those past 2 skills were actually in the avatar board. So the only thing that separates the avatar board skills from the skill enhancement boards is going to be that attack boost 10 max gauge 1, as well as a triple threat 3. So in my opinion, I actually think if you're going for skills, you're better off buying the skill enhancement board, because you're getting 4 max skills, and then 2 of them are going to be what you're getting from the Monster Sora board. So I feel like it's just a better bang for your buck. And then if you like really need the gauges, the gauge skills, you've got the skill enhancement board B. Again, it comes with attack boost 9 max, which was on the Monster Sora board, and then a lot of other good stuff. Attack boost 8 max is really as low as you should go in terms of the attack boosts, because you don't want to fall too far behind and not be able to pass content. So right now, the Monster Sora is a skip for me. If you're new, maybe it's like a definite buy for you, because it comes with defense boost 5 max, attack boost 9 max gauge 2, and then attack boost 10 max gauge 1. But I really think that the skill enhancement board A is probably a better bang for your buck in this case, especially since it costs 500 less jewels actually, so you're even saving jewels. Alright, so talking finally at the very last part of this video, we are going to talk about the events coins galore. Now, what I like about this particular notice is that, again, we're getting more information than we did the first time around. So that actually kind of plays into how we are going to handle this particular quest. So let's go ahead and read this here. Event coins galore is back once again. Collect subslot medals to enhance your keyblades. Also, there is a chance to get a Riku and Moogle medal, which can be sold for jewels. So 500 jewels per Riku and Moogle medal. And then we get a lot of time actually, so we're gonna get until the end of the month, but we got the first one for 15 days. Makes sense, we're getting this one for 15 days. It's gonna be again for those Kairu medals, the spirit medals, where spirit and nightmare medals, where they sub in for medals in these sub slots. So remember, if you go to the keyblades and then you add to sub slots, they're gonna essentially take the place of a tier 9 medal, tier 7 medal, tier 8 medal, based on what the level of that medal actually is. So for example here, if we do this tier 9 Spirit Lord Kairu is going to take the place of an upright power medal, and that just gives you more subslots. Essentially, that's the whole point of getting those actual pieces, is to fill out those subslots and make sure you're doing the maximum amount of multiplier damage. Alright, let's keep going on with the notice. So beyond that, there's 4 tiers of difficulty, similarly to the last one. The amount of event coins dropped from the boss scales with quest difficulty. So the higher the quest difficulty, the more coins are going to be dropped. We talked about collecting those special attack bonus level 7s, 8, and 9 subslot medals. Spawn the rare gift shadow to collect more coins and the rare Riku and Moogle medals. Spawn the rare sparkler to collect the rare Riku and Moogle medals. Now, this is pretty cool because it lets us know exactly what's going to be dropped. So the gift shadow can drop coins and the Riku and Moogle medals. The rare sparkler is going to drop strictly the Riku and Moogle medals. So the minute you see that sparkler, you know that there are Riku and Moogle medals involved. But if the gift shadow spawns, there's no way to know what it drops. You just got to go through the quest normally. You got to take it out and see what color of treasure drops. So if a silver box drops from the gift shadow, it's going to be coins. If a gold box drops from the gift shadow, it's going to be a Riku and Moogle medal. And remember that if Steel 3, which is the pet perk, procs at like when you get a Riku and Moogle medal, it's going to give you 4 instead of 1. So it goes from giving you 500 jewels to giving you 2,000 jewels, which is almost an entire pull on its own. It is a falling price banner, 5th pull onwards. So that's just really, really good. I can see why the rate of it showing up is actually really low. So the higher the difficulty, there's a better chance of the Gift Shadow and Sparkler spawning. So you want to be playing higher difficulty, essentially. Unless you find some sort of trick where you get like a good balance between your AP and then completing the quests, I still think it's just better to do the higher difficulty. It means you're playing the game less, you're able to make time in the real world for more things. But that's just me. If you want to do like the 5 AP quest multiple times, that's all you. Alright, let's see. The chances of Gift Shadows dropping the Riku and Moogle medal is the same across all difficulties. So again, the big point in doing a different difficulty is to increase the rate of it spawning. So that's why you do the higher difficulty. But no matter which difficulty you do, whether you have the time to do the 5 AP cost one multiple times, or whether you just want to sink the time really quickly and then just do the 60 AP ones, that's on you. But I am personally going to be doing the 60 AP ones next week, because remember that this week is raid week and you're going to have this quest available to you until the end of the month. So I want to use my AP right now to do some raiding, whereas I have the rest of the month to collect these event coins. Rare enemy perk does not increase the chance of spawning sparklers. However, it does not say anything about the Gift Shadow. So increasing the rare enemy perk will increase your chance of getting those Gift Shadows. And again, Gift Shadows can drop both coins and Riku and Moogle medals. So I'm still going to be using a maximum rare enemy perk just so I can have it spawn more. And then that increases my chances of getting Riku and Moogle medals. Use the rare enemy perk and item drop perk effectively. Again, I'm going full rare enemy perk because if the enemy doesn't show up, there's no point. So that's going to be my take on it. Event boards and event coins from this event will expire on August 31st, pretty much at the end of the month. Make sure you use all the event coins that you possibly could. If you have extras, they don't carry over, unfortunately. So that is that. And then we went over all this stuff already, kind of talked about how these sub in for a medal in the sub slots. So that's all for now, y'all. That was quite a bit of stuff to go over. Let me know, as always, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, feel free to drop them down in the comments below, and I'd be happy to answer when I have the time. But as always, everyone, until next time, take it easy.